Come, let us grow in the grace and knowledge of Him who saves us by His blood. Let us put down roots to deep water. Let us drink from the fountain of life. And we shall be like trees planted by the waters, planted by rivers wide and deep. Trees green and fruitful, bearing fruit of love in the vineyard of the King. Come, let us grow in the grace and knowledge of God's Spirit by which we're sealed, studying the riches of His word. Let us eat of the bread that He gives, and we shall be like trees planted by the waters, planted by rivers wide and deep. Trees green and fruitful, bearing fruit of love in the vineyard of the King. Come, let us grow in the grace and knowledge of He who calls us by His Son. Let us gather now at His table. Let us feast on the richest of food. And we shall be like trees planted by the waters, planted by rivers wide and deep. Trees green and fruitful, bearing fruit of love in the vineyard of the King. Good morning. Let's edify one another, shall we? It's a beautiful morning. Oh, Ezra. Got a tag. It's a beautiful morning. Sha-la-la. Hello, Sam. Good evening. How are you? 2, 3. Two. That is 3. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do 3 on that one. I think I'm going to go back and just do chain 2. I chained 3 all the way around. I think I just want to chain 2 to give me a base. And then I'll come back and chain 3. 2. A man of few words this morning, I say. There we go. 2. Just a lot of gestures. I had this on the uh, I had this project on the needles for probably close to 4 years or so, and in the that somebody had given me the yarn, and I had found this lovely, lovely pattern on a website entitled Ravelry, which is all about knitting and yarn work, needlework. And so I did I printed out the pattern, and I dutifully went along and figured out what I needed and where I needed to go. And so I used this lovely yarn for it, which it's a really nice yarn. It's just a pain in the butt to use. One, two. Because it's such a kind of a fragile yarn in and of itself. And so then when we moved, actually, it's probably been closer to 6 years that I've had this on the needles. Anyway, when we moved, by the time we'd moved, I had stopped knitting because I have arthritis in my hands. And I can only knit for about 5 stitches, it seems like. And that might, maybe 5 minutes or so before I lose feeling in my fingers. Evidently, I can only crochet for about as long. Anyhow, and so I had lost by the time I went to get back to it, I have lost where I was in the pattern. And seeing as how I've lost where I was in the pattern, it makes it really difficult to pick up where you're at and continue forward. I didn't know where I was at with the stitching. I didn't know where I was at in the repeats and the stitch, and the so I just decided to take it off the needles. And then to add to all the confusion, I had also I had also lost half of my pattern. So, oh, there we go. Come on. And there's a spiritual truth. Good morning, Harry. Harry. Good morning, Heather. What am I working on? Well, I'm working on devotion. How about you? Oh, let's move that camera just a little bit so I can sit back. There. I'll show you in a minute what the actual project is. Let me finish this stitch. Okay. So, like I said, I'd had this project on the needles for probably 6 or more years, at least 6. I thought originally it was 4, but the more I think about it, at least 6. A friend of mine and sister in Christ had given me the yarn before she left for New Orleans, and well, she I didn't have an initial project with this yarn. And boy, did I get that a little tight when I cast off. Too late now to go back. Oh well, I'll make a nice And it's like a really like a French silk type of a yarn, but it was really delicate and difficult to work with on the needles. And so, um, as I said, it was really difficult to work with on the needles. And I found this really lovely pattern on Ravelry.com, which, if you're doing anything with knitting or even crocheting, Ravelry has a lot of patterns and things that you can try, and they're all free. Um, but I found a pattern I really liked, so I went for it, and I began um knitting. Wrote the pattern, or, I printed the pattern out. I figured out how many row stitches I needed to start, and I started working the pattern. And along the way, I ended up losing feeling in my fingers, uh, to where I could only knit for like roughly 5 stitches, maybe 5 minutes. I usually say 5 stitches, but in actuality, it was probably about 5 minutes, um, before I would lose feeling totally in my fingertips, and I couldn't control my needles. So um, I gave up knitting. And hello, Sean. Good to see you. Um, so I put up my knitting, and I've recently gotten back trying to show Alicia and how to crochet and how to knit, and of course come across this. Well, in the move, I had lost part of my pattern, and of course, that long a period of time, I'd lost where I was in my pattern. Well, how many stitches I had, and believe me, this is a lot of stitches. You'll see in a minute. Um, and so I found it difficult. It was going to be a large task to try to pick up the pattern and restart it. So I just decided to take it off. Besides which, I was running out of the yarn. Half of my yarn had disappeared in the move of this particular variety, and part of that's because uh, when I went to reorganize my that was what I was looking for, reorganize my knitting bag. It had this particular yarn, skein yarn, had become so matted and dirty that there was just no saving it. So I threw it out. But this is the pattern, and it is a shawl. It's really difficult to see, but you can kind of see it. So now what I'm doing, I cast it off last night and um, started crocheting the border. So this is the half. This is the pattern from one edge, and then you would reverse the pattern to the other edge. And I don't know if I can. Um, I don't know if I can. There we are. So this is what it would look like at the half, if to fold it up. So I thought the pink would make a nice contrast. And like I was saying to Sam, there's a spiritual truth in that. Um, you know, we can lose the pattern um, for a lot of things and have it extremely difficult to pick back up. The good thing about it is that looking at the Bible, God left us the pattern, and the pattern is easy to follow. The pattern for a life in Christ is an easy one to see. Let's see here. I want to go one more stitch. There we are. And to follow. We talked about the other day G.K. Chesterson's quote, Christianity has not been tried and found difficult. It has been, or it has not been difficult and left untried. It has been tried and found. Hang on, I get it wrong. I gotta go get this one right. Boom, boom, boom. The Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and left untried. Um, the thing about it is that, Christ showed us the way. Oftentimes we give up on the ideal or on the pattern rather than following it through to its conclusion. Amen. We have girls and I have been on the nights when Oshea and Ezra have a game night with CJ on the computer as our kind of our fun night, really relaxing night. The girls and I will watch a movie, and so we were watching their choice, the Incredible. Well, no, it was this. It was the animated Spider-Man one, Into the Multiverse or whatever. And I said, I want to be doing something with my hands. I don't like to sit idle, and I don't like sitting on my phone. So, of course, I had him grab my knitting bag out and began doing this. Whoops. Hey, Reba, how are you? Yes, man is stubborn at times. You're right, Sam. I don't know as about at times. I think we're stubborn quite a bit of the time if we want to be honest with ourselves. Amen. Hey, Reba and Heather, I heard that. Oh, okay. Let's put that up for the moment. Besides which, my hand's starting to cramp. Ugh. Someone went and put a tennis ball on their crochet needles and found that was actually much easier for them to crochet with. Sean says, "Man wants the easy way and the comfortable way." Well, then, it's the idea, Sean, of working working smarter, not harder. Well, it's another normal day as I come off of my headache medicines, Reba. Sam says to be loyal to the pattern, one has to be honest to himself that he not get himself. I think you fat fingered something there, Sam. Your Your Sammy's translator went and garbled itself. Not get above himself? Anyway. It is a strong love that brings us to God. I have to correct you on that one, Sam, because you see, there's many people out there that claim to love God, and they do so strongly. And they're good people. But they don't love fully, because otherwise they would be doing what God said. Well, that's all right, Heather. Heather's over on YouTube now, so she could read a recipe while streaming. Sean, I am in the declination of the medicine, so that means that my headaches are going to constantly get worse over the next few weeks. There is a 2-week period of when let me put it this way. There's a month on either month, 2 weeks on either side of the shot, wherein the medicine is not effective. So it takes 2 weeks for the medicine to ramp up after you get the shot, and it takes 2 weeks for it to totally disappear. But there's 2 weeks that it is very ineffective. It loses efficacy. So I'm actually within a month of my shot, and I got to see when my actual shot is. Should be right around Valentine's Day. Nope, the 8th. So. Sean says you cannot love God and not obey his commandments. Well, you can love God or claim to love God and not obey his commandments. You can love God with a false love or with a vain love. Let's put it that way. You can love God with a vain love. Just like you can worship God with a vain worship. You see, there's always a genuine and a vain, a genuine and a false. The problem is there's too many people out there with a vain or a false love. They claim to love God, and God does not know them, because Jesus said he only knows those, as in recognizes those who obey him. No, you're absolutely right. And you do make sense, Sean. We all do struggle and fail at times. That's part of learning. That's part of life. But there is a difference between struggling and getting back up and continuing on. and someone who just simply accepts failure as the way of life and continues living the way they have always lived. And yes, Sam, or Sean, I was looking at Matthew, or thinking of Matthew 7:21 through the end of the chapter, so that'd be through 27. But the thing is like I said, there's a vain love, and then there's a genuine love. And genuine love of the Father is found in 1 John chapter 5, verses 2 and 3. Genuine love of the Father is found in John 14:15, John 15:14, John 14:21 and through 23 or 24. It's just, it's that's what genuine love is. So following the pattern means we follow that sound doctrine. We follow that form of doctrine that was delivered unto us. And if we don't follow that doctrine, if we don't follow that form, then we don't get to heaven. If I don't get to heaven, if I don't get to heaven, if I don't get to heaven, dear Lord, it will be nobody's fault but mine. If I don't see my Jesus, if I don't see my Jesus, if I don't see my Jesus, dear Lord, it will be nobody's fault but mine. If I don't wear that crown, if I don't wear that crown, if I don't wear that crown, dear Lord, it will be nobody's fault but mine. If I don't get to heaven, if I don't see my Jesus, if I don't wear that crown, dear Lord, it will be nobody's fault but mine. Just had to throw that one in for free. All right. So, I take it Sister T is with DJ. So we probably won't be seeing her today. Doot, 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 doot. There we are. Tell her we miss her and we're praying for her. We're thinking of her. Now I got that one stuck in my head. Thanks, son. Actually, I should say thanks, Sam, because he's the one that put it in there, uh, as he explained his comment there. Hello, CJ. All right, so let's get started on part number 2 of lesson 121 in the I Grow Daily Devotion, a book written by Philip Johnson, produced by Focus Press. Well, so much for that one. Boom, copy, boom, save. There we go. There's a link in the description of the video, link in the chat screen, and one that is scrolling across the screen under the hair of my chinny chin chin. Yeah, that would emotionally, Sean. It has been shown that emotions have an effect on our basal temperature. By the way, on our body temperature. At least it has been on mine. It probably took a lot out of her last night, and I don't know why. Perhaps I'll cry. Okay, so lesson 121 we are on, part 2. We're going to start off, though, in thinking and meditating for 1 minute upon the words of Psalm 86, verse 11. Whoops. Would you stop that, you silly goose of a camera? No, don't need that either. Hey, you're crooked. Crooked camera. 86, verse 11. Teach me thy way, O God, O Lord, and I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. 1 minute. All right. Yes, my light does cause my camera to flicker occasionally. It just is the wrong angle or something. So let's continue. Focus, Sean. Focus. Focus. Let's read Psalm 85 and 86. Whoops, pause that. Dun, dun, dun. To the chief musician, a psalm for the sons of Korah. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sin. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Wilt thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints. But let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. Psalm 86. A prayer of David. Bow down thine ear, O Lord. Hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou, my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, O Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplication. In the day of my trouble I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. For thou art great, and dost wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Lord my God, with all my heart. I will glorify thy name forevermore. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. O God, the proud are risen against me, and the assemblies of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set thee before them. But thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion, and gracious long-suffering, and plenteous in mercy and truth. O turn unto me, and have mercy upon me. Give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thine handmaid. Show me a token for good, that they which hate me may see it, and be ashamed, because thou, Lord, hast holpen me and comforted me. Good morning, Sister T. CJ Sean says he's going to do Sid 3P from now forward, and says thank you for covering for him the last few days. Yeah, we already knew you were crazy. Islaveth, good morning. Good to have you. Teresa, we did not cover the last half of it, and so because of some questions or some complaints, you might say, we went ahead and redid the lesson. So we just went ahead and redid the whole thing. Yes, I did rebroadcast my doing the lesson a couple years ago, the other day, which, as you know, snookered you. But we're going to do part 2 today. So good to see you, my sister. All right. Question number 1. We're going to actually put 3 minutes on the clock as we record our answers to these 3 questions. Question number 1 is write down one question or observation you have over these I'm just going to put it in there correctly. Psalms. Dun, dun, dun. And start the timer. There we go. So now, Sister T, you can put in your questions or observations, and I will actually answer you. Oh Lord, my Lord, how excellent thy name. How excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens, will praise thy name forever and evermore. Whoop. Pause. Boom. Yeah, CJ said, I did not get to go over all the answers for record, and that's because his internet went kaput. Okay. Question number 2. Sam, you didn't put your question number 1 up there. Come on, man. List one way these Psalms will strengthen your love for God. Hey, Reba. You've been awful quiet. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. And I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go, whoop. Boom, boom, boom. Question number 3 then becomes, write out one action step you will take in your life based on today's reading. Begin your answer with, I will. It's been a long, long time. Okay, I know. Aha. But I did not get this one through all of that. Come on now. There we go. 2. All right, I'll get it back to you for a moment. And there's 1. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's put these in here. Boom. Sam. Now, here comes number 2, Sister Heather. And the question was, Heather, list one way these Psalms will strengthen your love for God. There we go. Morning, Skylar. No way. Really? Whoa. But still, she's talking to you, Sister T. It sounds like something might have changed. We'll see. That's right. What you making today, Sister Heather? Yep. No. Okay. Two. Praise be to God, though, Sister T. Praise be to God. Now, you should be sorry for talking to CJ during class there, Sean. Tisk, tisk. Hey, Ezra. Ah, you mean LL? Or not LL. Is it Tom? And O'Shea was telling me something about that. Or at least about someone out there at the lake. Chickpea veggie burgers for the freezer. Avocado carbonara. Ooh. Spaghetti squash. I love spaghetti squash. Turkey meatballs. Ooh, honey whole wheat bread. No, that's awesome. have to send you some recipes. All right. Oh, Petey in Des Moines. Okay. One that one of those that that's interesting because one that Larry has been having to do odds and ends for. Um, he got a call yesterday and said, "Hey, would you check on so and so?" And so, okay, well, Larry went, and I think Larry and O'Shea went over and checked on him, or at least Larry did. Went and checked on him. Yeah, he was alive and doing fine. And so, okay, you need to call so and so. So he called or whatever, and I guess later in the afternoon, Larry got a call from him. I think it was Tom Breimeyer. Anyway, I don't remember what the actual name was. But got a call from him. Larry got a call from him a little bit later in the afternoon. He's in the hospital. He hadn't been taking his medicines. So remember Petey, Skylar's friend in Des Moines? Teresa says, "Wow, Heather, I'm coming to your house." Teresa, "Well, you're only 5 hours away from Heather, so come on down," she says. Sounds like if I was doing my live Bible reading still, I'm not, but if I was, I would turn the comments off. Yeah, well, I got to take y'all to task because during the Bible reading, we're there for Bible reading, not for chit chat during Bible reading. Once the Bible reading begins, shut up. But we're here during devotion, so we can chit chat. Yes. So remember Petey, remember Tom, remember Sean and Teresa and their grief, and Sylvia. But also remember CJ, he's got an intake for job stuff today, so remember him. Now, let's get back to the devotion. Question number 1. Write down one question or observation you have over these Psalms. And for question number 1, Teresa said Psalms 85:1 and 86:1. Now remember, Sister T, it says one question or observation. One or. Okay, now enough with that. Enough with the guilt trip. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Okay. The number 1, this is not a Psalm of David. This is a psalm. We don't know who it was written by, but it was a psalm for the sons of Korah. And the reason that we can say it's not of David is because of this fact right here. You have brought back the captivity of Jacob. Now, the reason that we can say that for surety is because under David, there wasn't a captivity. There were fights for sure. And there was battles between Israel and the Philistines during right there at the point of Saul, at the end of Saul's reign and beginning of David's, but there wasn't any captivity. However, later on, when the sons of Korah were prominent as musicians, which would have been later in Israel's history, Asaph was primary during David. Korah was later. And of course, Korah was one of the sons of Levi, by the way. but they became musicians as their form of service after the temple was erected, and there was no more need for porters to bear the tabernacle places as there had been before. Now, no, this wasn't. This isn't. I mean, there's some similarities, Sam, but this is not during that time either. Thou hast brought back. That means then that God has released the captivity of Jacob. Um, he has the idea is has set free uh, the captivity of Jacob. Now we can go through and we can think of all sorts of times when Israel or Jacob was captive. We can think of times during the Judges. We can think of times after David, after Solomon, and either one of those would have been appropriate. Um, but seeing as how these are psalms, um, most of these would have occurred and been written after. Now, we do, I believe, in the book of Psalms have the Psalm of Moses uh, in there, but most of the Psalms were compiled by David and by Solomon and were collected as well by Hezekiah or later. Could have been Ezra or Nehemiah. You're right, CJ. But this was definitely after a captivity of Israel, um, and was not a psalm of David. Uh, I lean a lot toward Ezra or Nehemiah during their day. Um, so um, there's a lot in 85 which speaks to the rejoicing of the people after the release of captivity, but also seeking the pleasure of God, and asking that He not hold them, not uh, keep punishing them. In other words, yes, Sam, Israel has been in captivity many times. Now, 86:1. Um, that can apply so many times, right, Sam? I mean, even even today, Israel is still got a hard heart, and even today, even spiritual Israel at times has hard hearts. Sister T asked for 86:1. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. This is a prayer of David, and um, one of the characteristics of the prayers of David is that of either and there's many characteristics, but in this particular case, it is that of him recognizing his uh, need for God, recognizing his own status. Um, he recognizes that God is up here and David is way down here, so God's going to have to stoop to listen. David said, "I'm down here. I'm tiny. I'm little, and I'm so poor. I'm so needy. My voice doesn't hardly carry. Bow down your ear and listen, because I can hardly speak to me or to you." It's probably just frozen on your end because I'm looking really alive and warm on mine. Um, Sam lost Facebook over signal on Facebook. Sam, am I still live and warm over on your end? Boom, boom, boom. Go back over. I wonder. I wonder why. Why? I'm seeing your comments, CJ. You better check Facebook. Don't come in here and tell me, oh, you're frozen. Go check Facebook and see if there's any notification over there. I can see your
Right.
it's still coming through on my end. So it's got to be, if it's frozen on Facebook, it's got to be Facebook.
Right. But I was just coming to see if you were frozen in StreamYard, but no.
I'm not. So we've got to, if it's frozen, we're going to have to figure out if maybe somebody has possibly, let me see. I'm actually looking at it right now on. It's saying that I don't have signal there either. Well, it just it started to, and then it just said I lost signal. Why am I losing signal? Is StreamYard having trouble? I don't know. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Not that. Notifications. It definitely doesn't like this particular lesson, does it, Sam? I'm trying to see if I can find out if there's if they've blocked us or something. Let's see here. back to that live video, see if it's still doing that. Well, let's do this then. Let's restart it. So, I'll see you in a minute. Ooh. I need to figure out. Da, da, da. Camera to the rescue. Okay. Now. Don't need the flash on.